talk with said employee or whomever would be working on a weekend. Occasionally holidays, that's happened before too. And what we do is we incorporate either a monetary bonus, compensated bonus there, or we'll work out a comp day. Like, hey, I'm okay. It could be it can, depending on the project and how it's budgeted. It could be between around $500 and $1,000 for weekend, especially if it's holiday work. So that goes up there. So we try to give the incentive if we can account for that in the budget. If not, what it'll end up being is, hey, if you have to work Saturday or Sunday kind of thing, we can pull in a comp day, right? So what we do is we track hours on the specific project, and then you would allocate those hours for the project later, right? Then instead of coding it to holiday or vacation, you would just code it back to that project. So it's case by case. Usually what we try to do, if we can account for that, so an example was Matane. Corning came on a Friday. Both Matane and Nan have had this scenario recently. Corning comes in on Friday at like 4 o'clock and says, hey, we have a really urgent project for AT&T. We need it back by Monday at 9 a.m. Right, so the only way we can do that is to kill it over the weekend. So we generally try to offer up if somebody wants to work on the weekend, right? First come, first served there. But if not, then that's when we have to figure out who's got availability. And the last thing we want to do is jeopardize, personal stuff on the weekends. So that's another important thing. Xiao has come to me recently. He's got family coming in from China. So certain things like that where you want to try to be at home, or Chaitanya recently requested a vacation day. Let me know as far as possible in advance, or Trey, right? So even if it's 3, 4, 5 months out, we need to know about it. So at all costs, if we can keep you home in office doing those kind of works and not in the field, we'll do it. There are some cases where it's unavoidable, but if you have a weekend, it's going to either be incentivized from a monetary standpoint or at all cost, or we'll do like a comp day.
So you said case by case. I'll just use my neighbor's case. We're probably working until 6 a.m. Saturday morning, and then traveling, and then getting back here at like 6, 7 p.m. kind of thing.
You would not be expected to lose a day on that. We'll work something out, whether you guys want to take a Monday off or have a comp day for future, however you want to do it. So everybody's different, right? For me, in those scenarios, if I come in and I'm like, all right, I worked all weekend at home, I mean, it's a little different, right? I'm expected to kind of do that since I'm trying to make sure the ship stays floating. But for you guys, however you want to handle it, we're not expecting you to burn time and lose time,
Okay.
I would say most of the time try to find like a Friday or something that you can take off, turn it into like a 3-day weekend for like next week, something like that. Because Monday you're probably going to be making the reports, because we gotta turn around the actual deliverables for your project.
So that's a good point. The customer, like I said, with the industry, the customer's probably going to want to get the reports done. But the good news is you got 3 guys on the project, so y'all can kind of help offload
you
that.
Stagger it out if you guys want to.
This one was a little different because of the MSA pricing, and it was technically in a work week after hours for those, that it wasn't a scenario where it would be like a cash bonus kind of thing. But we'll definitely work with you on a comp day for losing that Saturday, right? So like Trey said, if it means you want to take an extra day around a holiday, or you want to
July 3rd.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
if you want to use instead of using a vacation day, use that. But we want to have that on record, right? So make sure you talk to your manager about it, and then say, okay, yeah, we got a comp day approved. And then again, just as much advance notice as you can give us when you have personal stuff planned, kind of thing. It helps, right? Because we don't want to schedule you to be somewhere, right? And then the day before you're like, actually, I'm not going to be in town. I'm going on vacation, or something like that, right? I'm getting married. Then because that puts us in a bind. I mean, like I said, we don't want to hurt you guys on work-life balance, but at the same time, last minute, then we've got to go tell the customer, hey, either somebody else is coming out, or in the worst case, then we get screwed on the project and we can't do it. That's the worst part. So we want to avoid that at all possible. But that's a good question. I should have talked about that. But
I have a question about weekend too. Like, if the project is stopping Friday afternoon, or should fly back on Friday? Or what if I want to maybe like spend a weekend in that place.
That's a
question.
very good question, and this kind of ties back more into expense reporting stuff too. So we don't have a said policy on that, a written said policy, but there are several occasions where several folks have or know people in different markets, right? And if you were somewhere and you said, hey, I've got a friend that lives out here, I want to do that, that's perfectly fine. In that scenario, what happens is the flight cost, we would only cover, we're not going to cover a change fee that exceeds the flight cost, right? So if you originally booked your flight to come back Friday night and you said, actually, I'm going to stay, we can't pay for that change fee if you decide to stay out there. But if you want to fly back Sunday evening, and get a weekend out in a certain market, that's perfectly okay. But you can't expense hotel and car and stuff like that over the weekend. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's basically you're already out there, your flight's covered for, but we will work with you if hey, I'm going to be in Boston, for example. I got some friends there. I'll be coming back Sunday night. We'd exclude the hotel, but as long as we can justify the flight price and it's under budget and it doesn't cost us money to the project, then that's okay. So you can kind of work that in. So we're flexible there. Once we grow to a point where we have a lot more folks and we have to start incorporating a lot more HR strategy and stuff like that, it may be a little bit more difficult to do that, but we want to be flexible. So, if you're saying, hey, I'm going to stay up there, here's the flight cost, it's actually cheaper than coming back Friday, then there you go, right? So no problem with that.
Okay.
But that's another good question, because that does happen occasionally.
Like my last question is about like for of us, we start in May or June. Like for vacation days, it's like we have half vacation days.
Oh yeah.
You're talking about looking in TriNet?
Like we have like 10 days like vacation days.
I asked Amanda about that when you guys were starting. Actually, no, I talked to her about, I think it was the holiday schedule stuff. You would need to email her on that and figure out because originally what we had before TriNet changed it, it was I think it was the 15th or something of January, at the beginning of the year, they gave you the full X number of hours that was 10 days and then 5 days PTO, right? Now it's accrual based. So for all of us, you accrue a certain number of hours basically per day or per pay period. So I don't know. You'll need to ask her there. I think that's kind of like a gray area. So I can't answer that one immediately off the top of my head. I don't know. So we need to work that out and see what the policy says there. We'll be flexible kind of thing, but I don't know if like out the gate, if you get a half vacation or if you get all 10 days, I'm not sure. I do know that you get all the company holidays paid for there. So, but that's a good question. I don't know that one. So you have to ask her on that. Yeah, see what she says. And again, like I said, it used to be a full dump of hours, but now it's accrual based. And it may have been like that originally, I can't remember, but for some reason I thought it used to be like at the beginning of the year you had the full fledged. So you'll have to see what she says there on all that good stuff.
Let the rest of us know when you find out.
Yeah. let me know when you find out too. All right. If there's no more questions on that,
Are you logging me into my own computer?
I'm logging you
This is
in.
rude, man.
I'll just do Tyler's. I had his stuff, and I know he's not gonna be getting on it for
Gotcha.
anything.